Here we have this beautiful old HJ47, similar to Elsie. Now, alternator in this, on this engine, on the 2H, it's up really nice and high. It's actually only slightly lower than the air intake. It's a great position for the alternator because you're up out of the dirt, the mud, dust, water, all things like that. Accessible, easy to get to, and funnily enough, you don't actually really need an alternator to run this car. I have actually pull started Elsie before. It's mechanically injected. You can drive it without power. So that's an example of a good position for an alternator. Now we're going to have a look at the 70 series. Okay, the Troopy's back up on the hoist for its next upgrade. We will be doing an alternator upgrade. So when they put such a large V8 into the new 70 series, it's an old body. There's a few caveats with it. One is the famous rear track. It's skinnier than the front, and we have corrected that. Another funny thing with these engines is the starter motor. It's in the valley of the V, and you have to take almost half the engine apart just to change the starter motor. Whereas in our old 40 series, 2 bolts, a wire, all accessible. I literally did it in a caravan park one day. It's that easy. Whereas this is a big job to do starter motor. Another thing is the alternator. As I showed you before, the alternator in the 40 series is really nice and high, and it's in a good position. Where here, they had to put the alternator down low just to fit it somewhere in the engine bay. Now the problem with that is that you're gonna get mud, dirt, water ingress because it's down low. So a common failure point on the 7 series, if it tours a lot and does water crossings and muddy terrain, all that kind of thing, is the alternator will fail. It can be a bit of an issue on these newer 70s. If you don't have power in your battery, then you're not going to be moving for very long. Whereas in the 40 series, it's mechanically injected. I could pull start it and you'll be fine. So we are going to upgrade the alternator. Now, this one here is from an Australian company called Rapid Power. They do a couple of different units. They do a sealed unit, a fully sealed and cooled unit, which my mate Adrian has. So that's how I actually got onto this company, because I knew their gear was really good. He was really happy with it. So Rapid Power. Now this one here though is their Endura Power series. So this is a brushless alternator, and it is mud and dirt sort of resistant, wash it out. And it's also an upgraded alternator. They have a 150 and a 250, designed and manufactured in Australia, which is fantastic. I think also to note, if you have a 70 series and your alternator fails, you might as well replace it with something like this rather than an OEM one, which could fail again down the track. So to save yourself a headache, probably jump on one of these. Even if you're a farmer, you're going around the paddocks a lot, something like this could be a really good option. So yeah, we'll throw it on and get charging our batteries. Sometimes I just don't know how to sort of finish up what I'm saying. Anyway, there we go. Alternators. Right, the alternator is on. Aaron smashed it on really quick. Not much more to say about it. Looks like a really good quality unit. So, what are we doing now? We're taking the rear bar off and we are installing a tow bar. This is just a genuine Toyota tow bar from Troopy. Now, you might be asking, why didn't I put one on from the showroom? Why didn't I tick the box? And the truth is, I forgot to tell them that I wanted a tow bar. It's pretty funny. We picked up the car. I was just in love with this Troopy. I'm going around like, yay, my first new car I ever bought, and went around the back, and I just see no tow bar. I'm just like, damn it. So anyway, throwing it on. Not necessarily going to be towing vans and all that. It's actually just for work. Got to collect firewood and stuff around home. So yeah, it's going to be handy for that. So we'll get this on. All right, we've had a busy morning here at Project Overlander. So we've got a gullwing window in. This one is from Thorburns. So one of the advantages of actually coming to a workshop like this is I can see different products in the flesh, which is sometimes the best way to see it. So I could compare a few different gullwings. One thing that stood out to me, or a couple of things stood out to me with this one in particular, and it's why I went with it. It was assembled from the packet, so it was all ready to go. Everything was powder coated, the inside and the outside was all powder coated, ready to go. Got a nice lip up here for rain. When the window's up, the rain's going to drain to the side. 6mm alley, so really nice and thick. So good security. It's just really well made. It is a higher price point. That is something to keep in mind, but you're paying for that quality. So there's a few different options out there depending sort of what you want. But I went with the Thorburns one after having a look. If you're keen to have a look at a DIY install on one of these, I actually filmed a really detailed one with Liam from Thorburns. He came in, installed it, and that will be on his YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure. So just check that if you're keen to do it yourself. Otherwise, obviously, they can do it here at Project Overlander. But yeah, awesome. So good. We're going to have a shower recess in here. So we're going to have a shower tent above. We're going to have all our toiletries, shower, electric hot water. And then we're going to have another gullwing on the other side where we're going to have sort of a bit of a cooking space. So that's really exciting. Another thing that's been happening this morning, Aaron's been working hard on the rear bar. Sorry, not the rear bar, the tow bar. So as I said yesterday, got that from Toyota because I forgot to tick the option from Toyota dealership when I bought the car. But it's all genuine Toyota, it's going on. Just to do a few things, trailer towing, collecting firewood, that kind of thing at home. Maybe towing something later on, who knows, I don't know. Yeah, so all going ahead. It's probably done for this trip to Sydney. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of the Troopy build. As you can see, there is a lot that has happened to this build since the last episode. It's been in for a while and it looks way different, I'm sure you can tell. So pretty much I'm just going to run through what's been done so far, give you a bit of an update in the build and everything that's gone on it. All right, we finally have a front bar on the Troopy. I was deliberating for between a few different bars, but we ended up going with the off-road animal bar. I absolutely love the way it looks. It's really nice and slim sort of profile, as in like doesn't jut out too far from the front of the car. It wraps around here nicely. I just think it just looks really cool. There's a lot of really good bars for 70s on the market, but looks is a big thing for me. I think this looks fantastic. There will be some lights going in it very soon, so I think it's going to really help when we get a light bar in here and some spotties on there. I think this is going to help the overall look of the bar. Winch, we've got a Sabre winch that's been put in. This is the HDX 12K winch from Sabre. I've run Sabre recovery gear in Elsey for a while. I really like their stuff, so really happy that's in. I'm gonna have to learn to use a winch, I'll be honest. I've never used one, so it's just a good little insurance policy. Keen to be able to do some tougher tracks now, knowing that I have it. And you know, it's going to be able to get me out of those really sticky situations, so that's good. There is a bash plate that comes with the off-road animal bar. That's actually usually like a grey or a silver. Blokes here at Project Overlander got it powder coated for me, Sandy Torp, which I absolutely love, and it just ties in really nicely with the rest of the car. The off-road animal bar also has recovery points. They come standard with the bar. They're good, they're great. That's just one less thing that I have to think about. So they're sort of, obviously they're red and it ties in nicely with the Sabre rope. So I think it just all, it's not too busy at the front, but it looks good for the amount of colors and everything that are on it. I think it looks great. Oricom aerial here, so we've just got the stubby one on. We're going to be able to put the larger whip on, depending where we are and what we're doing. But I'm running the Oricom DTX 4200X, which is the same unit we had in Elsey. Great unit, dual receive, so we can listen to 2 channels at once. I've spoken about it quite a few times, but it's a hideaway unit. I'll show you how they've mounted that in the front soon. Yeah, we've got that bar in the front. So yeah, still a few things to do on the front here, but overall, absolutely loving the way it looks. Probably one of the most obvious changes to the car is the decal. So, I mean, look, it's a Sandy 70 series. They've been done to death. How do you make it look unique, somewhat unique? I actually really like these old school JDM sort of style retro decals. This one is by Toad Nation. They made this one up for us. in the grey gradient, which I had on their website already, but we've got a little Overland Travellers edition, which is just a nice little touch. I really wanted the grey gradient just because I haven't seen it before on a Troopy. 2, it ties in really, really nicely with our interior, which is the Shieldman seats with the grey sort of plaid gradient, which is really nice. And then we've sort of got all grey and black accents. So I think it just ties in with the overall whole package. But yeah, I love it. The more I look at it, the more I like it. It's probably not for everyone. I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments if you like it or not, but I absolutely love it. Makes it stand out a little bit. So really, really happy with that. Touge Nation, Touge. Check them out. If you want any decals for Land Cruisers, they do 60 series, everything like that, Jimneys, they do heaps of stuff. I just want to quickly note as well, got a lot more clearance with this front bar now. With the stock bumper that was on before, 315s are scrubbing. It's been fixed now with this bar, so really happy that that's all changed. Just at the back here, this is a quick one. This is our bin bag we went for. This is Outback Gear Solutions. They're a young Aussie couple that make this gear, or have started this company, Australian made, really, really high quality stuff. They do really good storage solutions for Troopies, so we'll probably put them in at a later date, but we've got their storage bags, which actually go on the back windows and the back doors. They're really cool, like pockets, really nice canvas goods, and their spare tyre bag, best one I've seen. It's not cheap, but you're really getting quality. Like the buckles, they're all metal buckles, not plastic. Got 2 compartments at the side, compartment at the front, massive compartment here, the drain hole, and you've even got a MaxTrax holder, so you can slide some MaxTrax into the back. It's just the best bin bag I've ever seen. I've had a few now, and they're generally pretty rubbish. Not many people put too much effort into them. This one has had a lot of effort, a lot of R&D, so yeah, it's just a nice bit of gear. Sorry for this super awkward angle, but I just want to show you another bit of gear we've got on underneath here, which is the Explore Oz underbody protection. So we've got the transfer case protector and also the diff lock actuator protector, both a couple of weak points on the 70 series, but also important components to your four-wheel drive. Just a bit of peace of mind when you're on the rough tracks, having that gear on. It's all been color-coded Sandy Torp, which is fantastic. I first was put onto this gear from my mate Adrian, who you've seen in our videos. We've travelled to the Kimberley with him, Simpson, and he's a pretty handy fabricator himself. And he rated this gear, he bought it for his 79, so I knew that it was good stuff, and I was happy to throw it on. So yeah, as I said, Sandy Torp as well, so it all flows and it just matches really nicely, so yeah, really happy with that. Also, underneath the car, we've sorted out our water tank. We got the water tank from Long Range Automotive. It is a 90-litre water tank, which is fantastic. It's more than double the water capacity that Holly and I had in Elsie, which is great because we were 40 litres, 40-ish litres was not quite enough for us. We would have liked a little bit more, so we've doubled that, a great amount. It's a pretty neat tank the way it fits. The handbrake cable, for example, actually runs through the tank. So it's just a few smart things like that they've done to maximise the amount of capacity that it has. Another good note is that it will fit with our Brown Davis long range tank that we'll be getting to replace the rear tank. So all up, we're going to have 270 litres of fuel and 90 litres of water. So a lot of fluid, and she will be heavy when it's all loaded up, but it's great just to have those options. All right, jumping into the interior here, we've had a few little changes. Have the Oricom DTX 4200X mounted here. Inside on the magnetic mount, boys at Project Overlander here made a nice little bracket, so it's just all nice and neat in the interior here. Now, Toyota, they put in a head unit, I think it's from like a 2012 Hilux, that's the kind of joke. Toyota was so close to putting something useful in the interior of a 70 series. I actually like the screen, the touchscreen was fine, it all worked, it was great. I mean, the sound system sucks in these things, but it's better than nothing, way better than what we had in Elsie. But pretty much my one stipulation is I want Apple CarPlay in a head unit. And that didn't, and the Toyota one didn't have it. So another thing I've heard is that there is a lot of really crap head units out there that actually just make the functionality worse. So Explore Oz, the same company that does all the underbody protection, they do a lot of accessories for a 70 series, and one of them is a head unit. And I pretty much said to him, look, if it's worse than, or you know, if it's buggy or anything like that, it's worse than the stock one, I really don't want it. And he just assured me, he said, look, it's a good unit, works really well. We've got it in, and the boys in the shop were pretty impressed with it. It's at a pretty good price point. It has heaps of features. We've got reverse camera. You can even plug it into your OBD.
as an OBD reader, and you can get, you know, your fuel, your how many Ks on your litres per 100, heaps of things. A bit like this scan gauge that I've got in, might have made it kind of obsolete in the car. I don't know, I'll have to give it a test. But having the GPS and it's just a nicer looking unit. It's probably something they should have had from factory. But anyway, so I'll give that a test and I'll get back to you on actually what it's like. I haven't used it yet, so I can't really say much about it. I'm keen to give it a test. First impressions, it looks good in the car, so that's always a plus. So I'm actually just looking through some of the features in this head unit now. It has Wikicamps built into it. That is really, really cool. I like that. I've got to sign in, but that's really handy. Didn't know that. We got here, so home. I've got to set it all up. I haven't set it up yet, but maps, old school radio. I don't know what that's connected to. That's cool. G'day everyone, sorry for the abrupt end to that film. We were a bit rushed filming up in Sydney, but it was just a quick one just to show you kind of update of what's happening with the car. We're actually just on Holly's farm. This is where we did Elsie up back in the day, so it's nice being back here in Armidale. We're only back here for a little while, so there's lots of things to go with the car. So we've got some really exciting things coming up. Interior fit out, that's one big thing that's happening now, which just includes everything, your 12 volt, your air, utility panels, water, and just everything that's going in the build out. The guys at Project Overland are doing like an incredible job, and it's just a really, really nicely done. It's a bit different, so I'm really keen to show you that. Also, the roof conversion, it's still happening. It will be getting done soon. That'll probably be in the next couple of videos. So you might remember I said we were initially getting the roof conversion done at Project Overlander. They are building theirs from the ground up. Unfortunately, theirs won't be ready in time. So we had a look at our options of what we were going to get, and there was an option I was looking at, and it's actually from a company called Headspace Campers. So that is a new company. Well, it's not a new company. They've been doing conversions for a while for Defenders, and they've only just done their first couple of Troopy conversions, and they look amazing. It's fully Australian made, Australian canvas. The guy who runs the company is a really good guy, and he's a traveller himself, so he's come up with some great ideas for it. So I can't wait to show you that. That's getting done up in Brizzy. As I said, it'll be done in a few weeks, in a couple of videos time, which we're really excited about. There's so many other small things that's happening with these cars, and a lot of stuff in the videos that we don't necessarily show you, but there's a lot of work in this kind of work with cars. A lot of small things that go into it. So the guys at Project Overland are doing such a good job. We're so happy with it. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the update. If you did like it, maybe check out some of the other videos previously that we've done, or subscribe if you want to see the next couple of build videos. And then the subsequent travel videos that are going to be in the new Troopy, which we're really excited about. We're going to be doing some of the most remote tracks in Australia this time around. Canning Stock Route, a couple of Simpson Crossings, Gary Junction track, things like that. So we're so excited to get out on the road in this new Troopy. Anyways, guys, thanks once again for watching. We will see you in the next one. Cheers.